Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chelsea. You know that and I know that. I'm just a lady with a bulldog, a camera, and too many opinions. And I have a lot of opinions about Elon Musk.
I've never done anything awful. I've only done productive things.
Now, as I said, all of this is my opinion, as is everything I post on my channel. And that is typically always paired with information that you can find publicly on the interwebs. So no, this is not slander or defamation or anything like that. Just me exercising my right to free speech and doing my job as an entertainer and YouTuber and commentator. You know, it's going to be a spicy video when I have to start out like that, right? If you would like some extra spice, make sure you come back to this video in maybe like a week or two and just check out the comments section, because if I think the comment section is going to be pretty bad from a Michaela Neguera video, dear God, if I talk about a man with a primarily, let's be honest, majority, all incel / male / unhinged child fan base, dear God, it's going to be a war zone down there. So feel free to come back and laugh, because it's going to be pretty unhinged. Hi friends, if there's two things I know, it's one, that I look great, and two is that Aura is the sponsor of this video. Aura is all-in-one digital security. You might have 5 different apps that you're using for things like a VPN, password management, parental controls, monitoring the dark web for your information, and submitting opt-out requests. Well, guess what, girly pop? With Aura, you can have all of that in one app and so much more. Did you know that there are data brokers out there? Yeah, sounds fancy. Sounds like someone who, you know, does good stuff maybe. But hey, no, they're not. Data brokers are people who will buy your private personal information from websites, from data breaches, legally, and then sell it online to scammers, spammers, hackers, stalkers, literally anybody. And on these websites, is it easy to get your information taken down? No, they don't make it easy. They do not make it easy. It is quite difficult, actually. But the good thing is that with Aura, you don't even have to worry about that, because Aura scours, scans, hunts down that information for you in the background and then submits opt-out requests on your behalf, so you don't even have to worry about it. Aura also has US-based support available to you around the clock, just in case anything goes wrong. There are over 100 locations with their VPN service, and they have real-time fraud alerts for credit and banking. Not using Aura is kind of like locking your front door, but then just leaving your back door and all of your windows open. Don't do that. That's not smart. So take advantage of a 2-week free trial with Aura today by going to aura.com/CCSUAREZ. That is aura.com/CCSUAREZ, and get yourself protected today. And thank you again, Aura, for sponsoring this video, and thank you to you guys for supporting my sponsors. Without sponsors and without you guys supporting them, I would not be able to put out content. I would not be able to have colored books in my bookcase. I would not be able to do this full time. So I really do appreciate you, and obviously I appreciate my sponsors as well. Okay, back to the video. Now, one thing I like doing recently is telling you what led me down this rabbit hole. What made me want to make a video about this? Now, I saw another video. I'll have it linked below, or hey, maybe we'll insert it at various points in this video. But I saw a video that was like, hey, remember when Elon Musk told us this, or when he told us this, or when he told us this? And it was just listing off all of these empty promises, broken promises, things that never came to fruition, and just a lot of nonsense. And then I started to think, hey, is this guy actually like really smart? And then I did more research and I was like, wait, he's not the founder of Tesla? Girl. And then I found out about his dad. Wow. Now listen, I can appreciate a good bullshit artist, but when you have, in my opinion, done that so far to where you've literally been like adopted by the president of the United States, I got a lot of questions and frankly, some concerns too. But let's get into it. Let's start at the beginning. I feel like that's a good place to start. Elon Musk was born June 28th, 1971 in Pretoria, South Africa, during the height of apartheid. His father, Elon Musk, was an engineer and investor, while his mother, May Musk, worked as a model and dietitian. Elon has described his childhood as emotionally difficult, citing verbal abuse from his father and a sense of isolation. He was reportedly bullied so severely in school that he was once hospitalized. Elon Musk's privileged upbringing has been brought up a lot, and there has been a lot alleged about it as well, particularly the story that his father owned an emerald mine in Zambia. Now, Elon Musk confirmed in interviews with Business Insider that he co-owned the mine and that he and Elon once traveled to New York with emeralds in their pockets to sell to Tiffany & Co. Elon has repeatedly denied benefiting financially financially from this venture, even calling it a lie on Twitter. Elon taught himself computer programming at the age of 10, and at age 12, allegedly he sold a space-themed video game that he coded himself called Blastar for $500. He was described by classmates as highly intelligent but socially awkward. He was often consumed and engrossed and lost in books and sci-fi material. Elon has referred to Elon Musk as being a terrible human being, alleging manipulation and cruelty. And in 2018, the rift deepened when Errol admitted to fathering a child by his own stepdaughter.
She'd grown up into a great-looking woman, and we got on extremely well. And then roughly 2 months later, she contacted me to say she's pregnant. So I said, well, can't be me. She said, well, it is you, because she hasn't been with anybody else.
Now, since Elon says that he has not financially benefited from his family's possibly unethical mining fortune, how did he get all that money? What you doing? What's going on here? Let's get into that. Let's get into his road to riches. Elon left South Africa in 1989 to avoid military service, moving to Canada and attending Queen's University. He later transferred to the University of Pennsylvania, where he completed degrees in physics and economics. During this time, Elon reportedly interned at 2 Silicon Valley startups and became obsessed with space, the internet, and energy. Now, during this time as well, he did start a relationship with I believe it was his first wife. She's iconic. We'll get into her in a minute too, but we're going to save that for the relationships portion of this video because dear God. Now let's talk about Zip2. Elon co-founded Zip2 with his brother Kimball in 1995. The company created online city guides for newspapers. The startup received funding from Mora Davidow Ventures. MDV is a venture capital firm known for investing in early-stage technology-based startups. They focus on companies that are redefining or creating new markets, often leveraging data analytics and cloud technologies. But Elon was pretty quickly replaced as the CEO due to his lack of leadership experience. And in 1999, Zip2 was bought by Compaq, which is a quite huge technology company. So Compaq acquired Zip2 for $307 million. Now, obviously, since there were investors involved and then also other co-founders and stuff like that, then Elon only netted $22 million from that sale. You guys, we got to start a tech startup and then just sell it. That's what we got to do. All right, that's it. Y'all hear that the Olipop lady, or Poppy, I think it was Poppy, she got bought out by like PepsiCo or some company for so much money. That's crazy. As if it's so easy to just like start a company, build a company, and then be able to sell it off. Like, it's not. However, Elon is quite proficient in that. I feel like that's literally how he's made like all of his money. It's crazy. Speaking of which, in 1999, almost right after the sale of Zip2, Elon launched X.com. No, that's not a schmorn site. And no, I'm not talking about Twitter because that didn't happen until like 30 years later. X.com back then was a online banking platform. And a year after that, X.com merged with Confinity, and that conglomerate developed PayPal. Now, some internal conflicts came from disputes over the branding, apparently. Elon really wanted to call it X.com. Are we surprised? Good Lord. So shortly after those disputes, because it has to be called X.com, he in himself is just like a walking meme, and I think he thinks it's super funny, but like it's not. He's very millennial cringe, and I don't even think he is a millennial. He don't look like it with that hair. So anyways, while he was on his honeymoon with his first wife, he was ousted as CEO. But don't worry, because obviously, we're sensing a pattern here. When PayPal was acquired by eBay for $1.5 billion in 2002, Elon netted roughly $118 million after taxes. Now, this is wild to me because I always thought or had heard that he like started PayPal. He didn't start PayPal. Musk's early ventures really do reveal a pattern. Visionary ideas, rapid expansion, internal conflict, and then eventually he gets pushed out. Despite not staying in leadership long term, his equity stakes positioned him for massive, massive payouts. Now, like I said, it's a pattern. So let's get into that pattern and the business ventures and the business fumbles. Now, like I said before, I always thought, and a lot of people think, that Elon Musk is the founder of Tesla. No. Founded in 2003 by engineers Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning, Tesla did not originally involve Elon Musk. He invested $6.5 million in 2004, and he became a chairman of the board. Now, when someone is investing that much money into into an organization, into a business entity, I'd argue that that's pretty common that they are going to have some type of board position. So that's not unheard of. Over time, Elon sidelined the founders, and after legal disputes, he was granted the right to call himself a co-founder, even though he came into the company a year after it was founded. Musk became CEO in 2008. Under his leadership, Tesla became a cult brand, but faced repeated delays, safety investigations, and allegations of union busting. So do y'all think the moon landing happened? Leave it in the comments below. Tell me why. We will not judge you. Because I got questions. I got questions. Why haven't we gone back? Why haven't we been to Mars yet? And think about it. Did we really want to go to the moon, or were we just trying to beat the Russians? Were we so much listen, bitches, you're not going to get there faster than us, but then they were actually doing better than us, so then we just faked it? No one say that to Buzz Aldrin, because he will punch you in the face. It has happened. He punched someone in the face.
You're the one who said you walked on the moon when you didn't. Calling a kettle black, if I ever thought of it. Saying I misrepresented myself. Away from me. You're a coward and a liar and a thief.
You know what? I'm on his side, okay? Doesn't matter. I'm on his side with that. Anyways, let's talk more about space. SpaceX, to be specific. Founded by Musk in 2002 with the goal of colonizing Mars. Yep. Early rockets failed, and the company nearly went bankrupt before winning a $1.6 million NASA contract in 2008. SpaceX now launches satellites, astronauts, and supplies to the International Space Station. However, it's propped up by government contracts and has been criticized for poor labor practices and unrealistic Mars timelines. Now, hold your horses. We're going to get more into the Mars colonization things in a bit, because it is truly fascinating to me. Also, hey, I don't want to go there. I don't want my kids to go there. Let's stay on Earth and maybe take care of the planet that we have. Why don't you do that? Also, he's a billionaire. Where are the Elon, the schools named after him, or the charities named after him? Where's that? What's going on here? Do y'all remember when Tesla also had solar panels, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, they'll basically pay you to put solar panels on your house? And it's hey, that's not how that works. Do y'all have solar panel solicitors coming to your house probably once a week? I have 2 no soliciting signs, and they still pretend like they can't read and knock on my door. Not only do they pound on my door, but they also ring my doorbell. I have a toddler. You scare the shit out of my kid? I'm gonna open the door and yell at you. It's not cute. Please stop. I don't want your shitty solar panels. Goodbye. I don't know how these solar panel companies actually are profitable, especially to just have people. I mean, let's be honest, they probably don't pay the canvasser people. I don't know. Anyways, the company Solar City was a solar power company as well, and they did not do well, apparently, and allegedly it was owned and operated by Elon Musk's family members, and then Tesla bought them out. And a lot of people say that it was just a cheap family bailout, and then now it was, like I said, bought out by Tesla, and now it's called Tesla Solar. And that company was created in 2006, and in 2016, that's when Tesla acquired the company for $2.6 billion. And in 2022, a Delaware court ruled in favor of Elon Musk in a shareholder lawsuit regarding Tesla's $2.6 billion acquisition of Solar City. Tesla shareholders had argued that Musk, who was a director on both company boards, pressured Tesla into the acquisition to benefit himself and to benefit his family and that company. However, unfortunately, the court did find that the acquisition was fair and that Musk did not breach his fiduciary duty to Tesla shareholders. Since we're on the topic of things that piss me off, like solar panel salespeople, let's talk about other things I hate, like killing primates with your little brain chips. Because that's no fun, especially not for the monkeys. Primates, they're apes. They're not monkeys. They don't have tails. Primates, apes, no tails, monkeys, tails. Got it? This has been Animal Facts with Chelsea. Listen, could you imagine going to the zoo with me? My kid is going to be so smart as he's yelling in the next room. Founded in 2016 to develop brain-machine interfaces, the company Neuralink has been investigated for animal cruelty, with whistleblowers reporting rushed and botched experiments. In 2024, it began human trials, years after its original timeline. Now, the brain-computer interface, or BCI, is currently allegedly being used to help individuals with quadriplegia and helping them regain control of computers and other devices using their thoughts. The company's, quote, prime study is focused on evaluating the safety of their implant and surgical robot. The N1 implant, a small flexible device with thin threads, is surgically placed in the brain using the R1 robot. The implant records and transmits brain signals wirelessly to an app, which decodes movement intention and allows users to control a computer or a keyboard with their thoughts. The study involves a combination of at-home and in-person clinic visits over approximately 18 months, with regular follow-ups and BCI research sessions. Elon Musk says Neuralink's first human trial participant can control a computer mouse with their brain, nearly 1 month after having the company's chip implanted. But details remain sparse, and other companies working on brain-computer interfaces appear to have so far cleared more technology hurdles than Neuralink. Musk said, "Progress is good. Patients seem to have made a full recovery, and they're able to control the mouse, move the mouse around on the screen just by thinking." However, Musk has offered few details and no evidence about the outcome of the operation. So it's not clear yet how significant of a scientific advancement the implantation represents. Other companies doing similar work are farther along in the research process. For example, one firm called Syntron has been enrolling people and implanting them in their trial since 2021. And they said earlier this year that early human testers of its brain implant device, all of whom previously suffered from severe paralysis, were able to use the device to control a personal computer device for routine digital activities such as texting, emailing, and online shopping. Neuralink, however, faced scrutiny after a monkey died in 2022 during an attempt to get the animal to play Pong, which was one of the first video games. In December 2022, employees alleged that the company was rushing to market, resulting in careless animal deaths and a federal investigation. But in May of last year, Neuralink received FDA clearance for human clinical trials. And a few months later, the startup began recruiting patients with quadriplegia caused by cervical spinal cord injury, or ALS. Now, is the idea behind, or rather the goal of Neuralink amazing? Absolutely. Of course. However, we could say that about a lot of what Elon Musk has tried to do. And then, it just doesn't work out that way, I guess. Are electric cars great? Of course. That's helping the environment. And gas is super expensive. And can you get a baseline Tesla for a relatively affordable price? Yeah. Can you also get a fully electric car from another manufacturer or brand for the same cost or less? Yeah. Do their CEOs stand on a stage and give a Nazi salute? Probably not. Now let's talk about the Boring Company. First of all, branding, awesome. That's a hilarious name for a company. Do I think that sometimes people have too much money and they just need to have a company that is a money pit so that they can show some type of loss on their taxes? Yeah, I do. I really, really do. I think that that's what this one is. The Boring Company launched in 2016 after Musk complained about LA traffic on Twitter. He then promised a high-speed underground Hyperloop-style tunnel system that would make traveling easier. This resulted in a basic Tesla shuttle tunnel under the Las Vegas Convention Center. Multiple other city projects for a Hyperloop-style tunnel system through the Boring Company have been quietly canceled.
The Boring Company actually started as kind of a joke. And for a lot of times people would ask me, what do I think the opportunities are out there? And for, 5 years or more, I kept saying, can someone please start a tunneling company? Because I think tunnels have a lot of opportunity for alleviating traffic in cities and just improving quality of life overall. There's a lot of streets you could turn into parks. Certainly you wouldn't need parking. You could just park cars underground. So, and everyone thought I was joking, and I was like, well, I guess we'll see what it takes to drill a tunnel, dig a tunnel, and all these like so-called traffic experts and haven't really made much progress. Cities like LA and DC are still a traffic nightmare. I'm like, okay, guys, well, if you got such great ideas, why is this still a traffic nightmare? So if you build tunnels, you got to go 3D somehow, either underground or above ground, like either air or ground. We have the first production tunnel or useful tunnel in Vegas that's going to open, I think, in a month or two. So a few months, I guess. And hopefully we'll be ready for prime time around the Consumer Electronics Show.
So not only is the acquisition or creation, not even creation, but like acquisition of companies or helping co-found a company, building it up to a certain point with like a good idea, theoretical good things, getting other bigger companies involved, and then you being obnoxious and being kicked out of the company or bought out or something like that. That's obviously, as we've seen, a cycle with him or a pattern, but then also so is making all these promises. And then it's just like, wow, you said this was going to happen by this time. And cool, what's going on there, bud? And obviously with technology and with science and anything, you can't really put a timeline on things. For instance, how that spooky man that sounds like a frog, who now is like in charge of our health and wellness of our country, apparently, when he said that we're gonna have the answer of what causes autism by September, it's like, how did y'all put a due date on that? That doesn't make any sense. When you're doing research and stuff like that, like you can't really have like a definitive like due date. That doesn't really make sense at all. So it probably would just be best if he just didn't say things like that and like give things not even a definitive, just don't give a timeline. I feel like that would be best. Speaking of things that he should stop doing, the meme lord cringe, is it Gen X or is it millennial? He can't be a millennial. I'm a millennial. If I'm in the same generation as this man, I might kill myself. However, do y'all remember when he brought in a sink to the Twitter headquarters because he bought it and like no one got his joke and like no one was laughing? No, not good. Well, that happened in 2022 when he purchased Twitter for $44 billion after attempting to back out of the deal. Since the acquisition, massive layoffs, blue checkmark confusion, reinstatement of banned users, why does Kanye keep getting his account back, a spike in hate speech, and an estimated 70% drop in company value. But don't worry, he renamed it X.com, which still everyone I know calls it Twitter. Even like in publications and like in media, when you say like X, formerly known as Twitter, it's like it's Prince, the artist formerly known as Prince, the website formerly known as Twitter. Love it. Love that for them. But who cares? Because finally he got his dream of owning a company called X.com. Fabulous. Now, like I said, let's talk about the broken promises, because that's truly one of my favorite things. And obviously, yes, like I said, when it comes to science and technology and anything like that, there's going to be hiccups. There's going to be things that happen here and there. There's going to be advancements. There's going to be things that go wrong. That's why research is there. That's why, trials exist. But girl, these promises this man makes are crazy. And you could argue, they're not promises, they're just like rough timelines. And it's like, they sound pretty definitive. In 2008, Elon claimed Tesla would be profitable by 2009. In reality, Tesla didn't post its first annual profit until 2020. In 2014, he said that Tesla's vehicles would have full self-driving capability in 2 years. As of 2025, that's not the case. And Tesla's full self-driving is still classified as level 2, which means that human attention is still legally required. So human has to still be in at the driver's seat. And a lot of times, if your hands go off the wheel, it will beep at you, blare at you, whatever. And it has to be able to like feel the weight of your hands on the steering wheel. In 2016, Elon Musk promised that SpaceX would be sending humans to Mars by 2024. Now it's 2025 and hey, I'm still on Earth and so is he. And so are all humans except for people in like the space station. And to my knowledge and to the knowledge of the internet in general, no SpaceX mission has left the orbit of the Earth, meaning like past where the International Space Station is. So there's suborbital and then orbital flights. So there's like us. I'll show a graphic. There's us and then commercial flights and then suborbital space flight, which is what like the Jeff Bezoses and the Virgin Atlantic do, right? You go up and you come down. What Katy Perry did, right? You go up, you come down. That's it. And they're in like space for a minute. They basically don't, and I know this sounds like, you didn't even leave, but what they're basically doing is like getting to a high enough point in like the atmosphere to like a certain altitude or whatever, and then just coming right back down. So they're not like really leaving our atmosphere. They like kind of are. I don't know what I'm talking about. I've just done a tiny bit of research on this. And then there's orbital space flights, which is like the space station and then like what satellites do, right? You're orbiting the Earth. Okay. And so that's what SpaceX has done. They now are the ones who send up people to the International Space Station, but then also will send up supplies too. Like for instance, when those astronauts were stuck at the space station because like their shuttle or something broke down and it's like, it's not a bus. What's going on? So they were stuck there for like 90 more days or something. SpaceX sent up something to go get them, I guess. I don't know. It's crazy. But again, we're not on Mars. We have not colonized Mars. We haven't even gone there. We haven't even flown by it, okay? In 2017, we were promised the Tesla semi-truck and that it would be on the roads by 2019. However, actual deliveries using the Tesla semi-truck started in late 2022 and remain pretty limited. Have you ever seen one? I've never seen one. I should ask my cousin because they own one of the largest beverage distributorships in Florida. I should ask them if they see them. I feel like they would see them. I don't talk to that side of my family, so that'd be a weird ass question for me to ask them. Hey, if you're my cousin and you're watching this, have you seen one? They don't watch this. Anyways, in 2019, at Tesla's Autonomy Day, that sounds like an internal nightmare. I would hate that. Musk said that Tesla would have 1 million robo-taxis on the road by 2020. It's 2025. Nothing. In 2020, Musk said that Neuralink would soon restore vision and mobility. In 2024, only one human trial had begun, and there was no evidence of restored function at that time. And now we're in 2025, and there hasn't been any evidence to show that it has worked. I guess it's just like, hey, trust me, this is what's happening. And hey, maybe the person that's in the trial doesn't want to become a public figure or something, but I would think that if you are like in a trial that they would like have an appearance release or something like that roped into it. I don't know. But like nothing's been shown. Again, he's just like, yes, they can do it. They did not die like the monkeys. Don't ask about the monkeys. In 2021, the Cybertruck was supposed to launch that year. Do you remember? Do you remember when he's like, this car's bulletproof? And it's like, why? I mean, cool, but why? It was delayed multiple times and it began limited production in late 2023. Regulatory challenges and design issues persist till this day. And also, when they were accepting, I think it was like $50 or $100, something like that, deposits from people to like be on the wait list. That took forever. But then also the base price that they said, like it's a completely different price when you get it because there's all this other stuff that you like have to have with it, I guess. It's truly wild and hideous. Now let's talk about the Optimus robot. And I need to know why Kimmy, my girl Kim, I gotta know why she's like taking photo shoots with it and like she's so obsessed with it. She has a Tesla truck. Her kid has like a Tesla like little ATV thing that he rides around on. Kim, are you an investor in this company? I guess like financially that's smart maybe. I don't know. What's going on? What is going on? Why do you have this robot that like doesn't even work apparently? Oh, you don't know about the Optimus robot? Let's talk about it. Now Tesla recently, I want to say it was last year sometime, debuted their Optimus robot. Now their Optimus robot is a robot that can do like tasks, chores, something like that for you, fold laundry. I was about to say watch your kids, but don't let that thing watch your kids. Don't do that. I would have that thing do fucking yard work, okay? Put away dishes. I've already said fold your laundry, but I really think that's the only thing that I would have it do. Lift heavy things. Literally can't think of anything else. Do your taxes. And they had this event where not only was it debuted, but it was bartending. It was serving drinks. It was doing a little jig. I don't know. And hey, in terms of like showing what it can do, that's pretty cool. It actually reminds me of this movie that Megan Fox was in, Subservient. That movie's so horny. Y'all need to watch it. It's also really scary. Not really scary, but like spooky to think about. Then again, the entire time me and my husband were like, would we get a robot? Would we just have sex with it if it looked like Megan Fox? Yeah. We would. But then, I don't know. Let's not get into that conversation. If you had a robot that looked like Megan Fox, would you boink it? Leave in the comments below. The incels are not going to like that comment. Or maybe they will like me after that. Anyways, so the robots would like come up and talk to people, serve them drinks, whatever, do bartending things. And is that a great idea to show what it can do? Absolutely. That actually is what happens in that movie I just mentioned. But apparently the robots were actually being controlled like behind the scenes by Tesla employees. So like they weren't even autonomous, which is hilarious because it's like, what? That's not good. So then that obviously raises a lot of questions about the robot's true autonomous capabilities. At the We Robot event, Optimus robots that interacted with guests, served drinks, and danced were not fully autonomous. Humans remotely controlled most of their actions, according to an interview from Bloomberg.
Hey Optimus, how much of you is AI?
I can't disclose just how much. That's something you'll have to find out later.
But some or none?
I would say it might be some. I'm not going to confirm, but it might be some.
Now, they did use AI for walking, and apparently that's it. And of course, this led to people questioning whether the robots were ever going to be truly autonomous. Elon Musk claimed, he's claimed a lot of things, that Optimus would be a groundbreaking product capable of various household tasks and even available for consumer purchase. However, the use of human controls raises questions about the readiness of this technology. Now, this seems like something that he does quite often where he's like, oh, this is going to be groundbreaking. And it's like, babe, just say that in a meeting. You don't need to like promote it and like say it now when it's like it's not even done yet. So then he's getting people excited about the potential of like what it could do. But then again, I mean, if you're doing that and investors see that and they're like, oh, this is going to be amazing, I need to get in on that. Or getting people excited about like what you're doing and like the future and all that and getting them invested, literally speaking and like metaphorically speaking, it is kind of genius, but it's also like very unethical, I think, at least in my opinion. It just seems misleading to me. Also, with those robots, will they be able to like see in, like, will someone be able to like watch what you're doing? Like, does it record you? It has to have like some type of like capability of like seeing you, right? This man works for the government in multiple ways. I'm not trying to have him see me. Oh my God, is that what this is? Is everyone going to have one? And then the government, it's Big Brother. They can just see everybody. I think I just cracked the case. I'm pretty positive I just did. I'm spooked, but I don't want to fold my own laundry. So I kind of do want to hire a robot, buy a robot. I also don't though, because that's creepy, unless it looks like Megan Fox. Elon Musk, if you make it look like Megan Fox, I will be first in line. And then what if celebrities sell their likeness and then you can like get one that looks like one? So scary. So scary. Literally Black Mirror. That is Black Mirror. But that doesn't matter because like I've said before, he has a cult following and they will quite literally buy anything and invest into anything, even if it is a scam. Elon Musk has cultivated an online persona as a relatable tech bro who tweets memes, flirts with Dogecoin, and occasionally posts anime or video game references. Now, this digital charm that he has earned him a massive and loyal following. And that following often excuses his business failures as mere speed bumps on the path to innovation and greatness. Elon Musk's brief cameo in Iron Man 2 and his influence on Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal helped cement the idea that Musk was the real-life Tony Stark. And of course, as anyone would, he leaned into the identity at public appearances, interviews, and SNL hosting gigs, reinforcing the image of a lone genius leading humanity forward. Subreddits like r/Elon Musk and r/SpaceX, along with the flood of pro-Musk memes, portray him as a messiah figure. These spaces often downplay or dismiss any criticisms at all of his behavior, business practices, and of course, ethics. Now, unfortunately, like many people over the last 5 to 6 years, Musk seemed to shift from aligning himself with libertarian views and veered hard right into far-right ideologies under the guise of being a free speech absolutist. After acquiring Twitter, he reinstated banned accounts and boosted conspiracy theorists, all while attempting to on wokeness and mainstream media. As I said, any failure really does have an excuse. Layoffs, he's just cutting waste. It's a smart business decision. Missing deadlines, he's too much of a visionary for this time. Lawsuits, the establishment is so scared, bro. This deflection tactic mirrors cult-like behavior and really turns followers into apologists. You can just smell the cognitive dissonance. Now, we can't talk about Elon Musk without talking about the 47 children he has. I'm joking, it's not that many, but it might as well be, honestly. Elon Musk's first wife, married from 2000 to 2008, Justine, has publicly criticized Elon's treatment of her and their family, saying he told her that he was the alpha in their relationship. Anyone who says that they are the alpha is not the alpha. Cue Tywin Lannister saying, anyone who has to yell that they are the king is not the king. They had 6 children together, one of which tragically passed away as an infant. And in a 2010 Marie Claire essay, she described Elon as emotionally distant and power obsessed. If you have a chance, please do read that essay. It's amazing. Justine's a queen. In the essay, Justine said, still, there were warning signs. As we danced at our wedding reception, Elon told me, I am the alpha in this relationship. I shrugged it off, just as I later would shrug off signing the postnuptial agreement. But as time went on, I learned that he was serious. He had grown up in the male-dominated culture of South Africa, and the will to compete and dominate that made him so successful in business did not magically shut off when he came home. This and the vast economic imbalance between us meant that in the months following our wedding, a certain dynamic began to take hold. Elon's judgment overruled mine, and he was constantly remarking on the ways that he found me lacking. I am your wife, I told him repeatedly, not your employee. If you were my employee, he said just as often, I would fire you. Later in the article, she says, although I am estranged from Elon, when it comes to the children, I deal with his assistant. I don't regret my marriage. I've worked through some anger, both at Elon for rendering me so disposable, and at myself for buying into the fairy tale when I should have known better. But I will always respect the brilliant and visionary person he is. I also can't regret the divorce. Elon and I share custody of our children, who are thriving. I feel grounded now and deeply grateful for my life. And Justine is, like I said, his first wife, but she is also the mother of Vivian Musk, who has been pretty public about their lack of relationship with Elon. And keep in mind, Vivian Musk is transgender, so that may play a part of it. I don't know the inner workings of their relationship. Vivian is an absolute queen, and I love her no bullshit attitude, and that she has received what seems like a lot of support on the internet. And I'm sure that they receive a lot of hate from the Muskers, if you will. And I can only assume that that would be extremely discouraging, but they continue to speak out. And I love that. Now let's get on to the second marriage, which is Tallulah. I love that name. Tallulah Riley was a British actress married to Elon twice, 2010 to 2012, and then 2013 to 2016. Their on and off relationship was heavily covered in the media, and Riley has kept her comments minimal, but implied that Elon's work obsession strained their dynamic. And then we have Amber Heard. Musk dated Heard only shortly after her separation from Johnny Depp. And it is alleged that Amber Heard's children are from the alleged embryos that her and Elon Musk, made together. And their relationship was pulled into the Heard-Depp trial, where texts and emails between Musk and Heard were subpoenaed. But hey, Amber Heard is living a quiet and happy life with her new babies and her other baby in Spain or London or somewhere. So let's leave her alone, okay? Let's just let her live. Thanks. And then we have probably the most media covered relationship. Elon Musk met musician Claire Grimes Bulcher. I'm pronouncing that last name wrong, I'm sure, but who cares? They started dating in 2018. They've had 3 children together, including one via surrogate, and Grimes later sued Musk for parental rights, claiming that she was being denied access to one of their children. And one thing I do want to note, I was going to say this at the end, but so many of the articles and links and things that I have in my document for this video, now they're non-working links, and 2 months ago, they were working links. Isn't that sketchy? Right? I'm not saying he pays to have things taken down, but where have all these things gone? Now, Grimes and Elon also faced a lot of scrutiny due to the name of one of their children. It has asterisks and question marks in it. I'm joking. But they named their child something truly weird. I don't even know how you pronounce it. One of their kids' names is Exazai or something. And then there's Exa Dark Side Rail. Gonna name your next kid Department of Transportation, DOT for short. And then there's Tau Techno Mechanicus. Why? Why do you do that? So the one that it seemed like he had with him a good bit on the political campaign, and the kid that wiped his boogers on President Trump and then also told the president to it feels weird calling him the president, told Trump to get out because he wasn't president or something. And he literally, Trump's, this is one of my favorite things. Trump's this kid's so smart. And then just turns to him and he's iconic. There's also a video that I can't even watch. I don't even want to show it to y'all, but if I had to see it, you have to. You're a mom, just get past this because it just is going to give you so much anxiety. So it's not harm or anything, but oh my God, scary. So Elon Musk was doing a campaign thingy, whatever. He was I don't know, was he at the RNC or something, some convention? And he's walking off stage and his kid was with him. And he's walking so far ahead of his kid. And there's these steep ass metal stairs. And his kid is just, his 4-year-old or 3-year-old, however old he was just walking down the stairs by himself. And Elon Musk is just walking all the way down a hallway already. And his kid's just wobbling down by himself. I'm that kid's going to fall and die. What? Yeah, the mom anxiety. That video scared the shit out of me. I hated it. And it kept going around all over the place. And I couldn't escape it. I could not escape it. Now, Elon Musk has repeatedly expressed his belief that having more kids is important for the future of humanity. And it's basically his own personal mission to help the underpopulation crisis, which apparently that's a thing. And he was saying that there's a collapsing birth rate, and that is the biggest danger to society so far. Now, the US birth rate has been steadily declining since 2007, despite a small uptick in 2024, which saw over 3.6 million babies born. While researchers are concerned about the long-term economic implications of the country's birth rate, having more children isn't the only way to encourage a strong economy, but it seems like it is the basket that Musk is trying to put all of his eggs in, or all of his sperm in, if you will. So let's go over a little family tree real quick. And if they are over the age of 18, we'll show their faces. If not, we will blur it out or something. So like we said with Justine, there were 6, and then one of them unfortunately passed away from SIDS at just 10 weeks old. Horrible. So with Justine, there's a set of twins. We have Vivian and Griffin. Vivian, the icon, who told Teen Vogue that she has not spoken to her father since 2020 and doesn't know how many half siblings she even has. She's also condemned the straight-armed gesture, which is a Nazi salute, that he gave, and said, honey, we're going to call a fig, and we're going to call a Nazi salute what that was. And that shit was definitely a Nazi salute. And she further explained that his right-wing political shift was, quote, not because of me. And then Justine also had triplets, and that's Kai, Saxon, and Damien, and they are 19 years old. That is so many children. And then with Grimes, he has 3 children, and baby X is the one that has appeared with him at many professional events. And apparently the name is pronounced X-A12. X-A12? Listen, stop it. But he often refers to him as X or Lil X. In an interview with the New York Times in June 2020, Elon gave some insight into his parenting style. And he said, well, babies are just eating and pooping machines, you know? Right now, there's not much I can do. He said, when the kids get older, there will be more of a role for me. I think just doing what I've done with my other kids. If I have a trip for Tesla to China, for example, I'll bring the kids with me. Elon and Grimes privately welcomed their second child, a daughter, via surrogate in December 2021. Despite their breakup in 2022, Elon and Grimes went on to have a third child together, who they nicknamed Tao, in June 2022. The news of his birth wasn't revealed until September 2023, when a biography of Elon Musk came out. Around this time, the co-parents filed dueling lawsuits against each other to establish their parental rights of their 3 children, leading to a year-long custody battle. While their dispute ended in 2024, the case was sealed from the public, leaving the outcome unknown. Grimes hasn't been thrilled of the publicity that X has been receiving as of late, and she's begged Musk to keep their children out of the public eye. The state of my children's lives being public is of grave concern to me, and I think about how to solve this every single day, she wrote on social media. I would hope that there is some law that would allow a parent to veto small children from living public lives, but I don't even trust the law to help me now if I tried to invoke it. While he was still in a relationship with Grimes, Elon quietly welcomed twins with Neuralink executive Siobhan Zillis using IVF. Their daughter Azur and son Strider were born in November 2021, just weeks before the birth of Elon's daughter with Grimes. But it wasn't until 2022, however, that Azur and Strider's existences were made public. Although the two have never been romantically involved, their mother refers to Elon as an intellectual companion. 3 years after the birth of those twins, they had their third child together in 2024. Musk confirmed that he had fathered another kid that June, but didn't elaborate. On the baby's first birthday, Siobhan revealed on social media the co-parents have named the girl Arcadia. And then she made another big announcement. She and Elon had welcomed another son named Sheldon. His exact birth date is unknown. Since October 2024, she's moved the kids into one of the many homes owned by Elon Musk, specifically the $35 million family compound in Austin, Texas. And then there's Romulus, which honestly, that's the best name that any of these kids have. No offense to them. It's not their fault. It's the parents' fault. In February, conservative influencer Ashley St. Clair said she gave birth to Elon's baby the previous September. In a social media post, she stated that she wanted to protect their child's privacy, but was forced to come forward and get ahead of the tabloid story. She told the New York Post that their child was a boy and that it was Elon's idea to keep the baby a secret. Now, apparently, he hasn't acknowledged this one, which seems strange because he's acknowledged all the other ones. And he has said that he doesn't know if the child is his, but that he would like to find out and that no court order is even needed to do so. And then he said that despite not knowing, he has given her over $2.5 million. But at the point of him tweeting that he was, had already sent her a bunch of money and then was giving her $500,000 a year. And it's like, why are you doing that if you don't know the kid's yours? That's weird. It sounds like you know that it's yours. He had already hired a lawyer at that point, like I said, when he tweeted that, to represent him. And that case is now sealed. And apparently that's regarding a gag order. And then her legal team also said that he significantly decreased his financial support to her since the whole legal dispute began. But don't worry, because in April, paternity test results proved that he was the father. And Elon has apparently said that he doesn't want his surname, his last name on the birth certificate for security reasons or privacy reasons. And it's like, that seems weird. Don't all your other kids have your last name? And then the mother also said that Elon Musk offered her a lot of money to not make the paternity of the child public, which again is like, why? You said that you want to, like, it's weird. I don't know. It's very strange. It's like, why this one do you not want people to know about? Is it because she's like a content creator, like an influencer or something? I don't know. It's weird, but I wish nothing but the best for these children and their mothers, because it seems like he sucks. Now, one thing I do find interesting is that Elon has said multiple times that like his dad's a horrible person, he doesn't like him, whatever. But then him and Elon Musk, his father, do have multiple things in common, obviously. But one of the things that I find most interesting that they have in common is that Errol is someone who has publicly expressed that he does think that men should have as many children as possible to increase the declining birth rates. Have these people ever thought that, hey, maybe birth rates are declining because shit's so expensive and that, like, I don't know, women want to have careers first? And like, I don't know, man, like, how about because we just don't want to, okay? Ugh. And like, yeah, shit's expensive and impossible. Have you thought about that? Or are you just so out of touch that you're just like gifting your sperm to people? That's not a gift. Please stop. I'm surprised he hasn't started a company like that yet, where he just gifts out his sperm to people. Oh my God, how many children do you really think he has? Do you think he's ever donated sperm? Well, I mean, I guess technically he has, if he's like done IVF with a bunch of people who like he's not even in a relationship with, right? No, I don't know. Anyways, before we end this video, I do want to talk about some testimonies of like working for his many companies and then also some whistleblower tidbits as well. Now with Tesla, there have been a lot of accusations of racial discrimination by multiple former employees, including a high-profile 2022 case where the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing sued Tesla over allegations of rampant racism at the Fremont factory. One former worker, Owen Diaz, was initially awarded $137 million, which was later reduced after suing for enduring repeated racial slurs and abuse on the job. Tesla has also received a lot of criticism for unsafe working conditions and union busting campaigns. Tesla has faced multiple NLRB complaints and investigations over firing union organizers and suppressing labor activities. A 2021 decision found that Tesla had illegally fired an employee for union organizing and that Musk had violated labor laws. And then let's move over to SpaceX. An ex-staff reported a very overwork culture and unrealistic timelines, which that tracks. A 2022 investigation detailed a punishing work culture at SpaceX, where employees described 80+ hour work weeks and expectations of complete loyalty to Elon Musk. Engineers claim Musk ignores expert advice and overrules safety standards. One engineer cited being told to fly rockets despite knowing risks, and a 2021 report uncovered a pattern of disregarding concerns for safety of launches. And then we have Neuralink. Whistleblowers revealed that over 1,500 animals died in rushed experiments. Internal Neuralink staff emailed the USDA supporting allegations that animal deaths were due to pressure from Musk to accelerate to human trials. Neuralink is also currently under federal investigation by the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Office of Inspector General, with the probe focusing on potential violations of the Animal Welfare Act. And then let's go all the way back to PayPal. The early board members removed Musk due to poor leadership and obsession with branding. Musk insisted on rebranding PayPal to X.com, leading to internal conflicts and a coup while he was on his honeymoon. And then, of course, we have the post-acquisition chaos of Twitter. There were mass filings, hate speech spikes, an advertiser exodus. Studies found that hate speech surged after Musk reinstated banned accounts. Why would you do that? Major advertisers like GM, Pfizer, and Apple pulled their spending on the app. So in my opinion, I don't think that Musk is a self-made genius. Instead, I am of the belief that he is a rich kid that bought into certain companies and ousted the creators and founders of those companies, didn't play well with others, but still in one way or another benefited from his own weird behavior. It really does seem like he has built a cult around disruption, whether that be in the tech industry, business in general, or with politics and free speech. But in reality, it seems like the real disruption is the broken promises, the skewed timelines, the rewriting of history, the mistreatment of his lower level workers and his companies, and billions of dollars lost on hype that rarely pays off. When Elon Musk misses a deadline, it's branded as disruption. But when employees or whistleblowers or anyone speaks out, it's labeled as sabotage. It seems like he either throws money at problems or controversies or just memes his way through it. But if we pull back the curtain of this empire that he's built that allegedly all started with the exploitative work and profits from an emerald mine, we can see that it's not this innovative wizard. It's really just some goofy meme lord who does happen to be intelligent, but who is really good at spinning a narrative and getting the whole world to fall for it. So that will be it for this video today. I hope you have a great day, night, weekend whenever you're watching this. Remember that if you are subscribed, you get a little pep talk at the end of my videos. And that is only if you are subscribed. If you are not, you are dead to me. And you should exit out of this video because this message is not for you. How dare you? But hey, if you are subscribed, your butt looks so good. You don't need a BBL. You don't need Sculptra glute injections. You don't even need to do squats, girl. You don't need those leggings that go right up the booty cheeks. No, because them cheeks are lifted, plump, and glorious. Now, if you want that sentiment to apply to you, all you have to do is subscribe and then instant compliments. You're welcome. Anyways, remember that your feelings are valid and you are valuable, and stay spicy and assertive and all those things. And I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.